Hey guys, it's Dylan Sider with Kinfolk Carpentry, and today we're going to be doing some crown molding. Yesterday, I did a very large living room that has a 16-foot ceiling. I had some help with that, and today I'm going to be doing a dining room. It's not super typical. It's got two pieces to it. Makes it a little more grand looking. So I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how I install crown molding, and I also got a new tool, the new Milwaukee M12 jigsaw, and I put a coping foot on it. So I'm going to give a little bit of a overview on what I think of that new tool. All right. All right, let's get set up. Look at this mess. In a little organization. This is where we're going to be using today to coat. This is the new Milwaukee M12 jigsaw with the coping foot on it. I was using it a little bit yesterday for the first time. Works really good. So we'll kind of go over that. All right, so this is the room I did yesterday. It's kind of hard to tell from here. Here's a better shot of it. This is a 5 1/4 base flipped upside down, and then a crown molding on top to kind of give it a doubled look there. This room was tricky. I had a few buddies help me with it. We set up scaffolding and planks and all kinds of things to get all the way around this room. It's trade ceiling, so I had to do it on the lower half and the upper as well. So it took us till about 2 o'clock yesterday. But today, I'm going to be working on this dining room here and doing kind of the same look all the way around. So I'll show you how I do that. This is the height of where I want to nail. Essentially, the first molding is a baseboard that goes on, and then my crown kind of sits here, like so. So this is just an upside down baseboard. And so I cut a block to use as a height, a line I want to go to. So I'm going to mark that kind of everywhere. And why I chose the height I did is because of this HVAC vent. I want to leave a little bit of space there. I don't want it butt right tight. All right, first piece coming in. All right, so here's the key to kind of coping. You're going to cut this on a 45, but I always like to make a square line on my cut just to make sure. I don't trust my saw to just drop it in there and cut square. I try to cut to a line. And if you've been in carpentry a while, you know that you can kind of deflect your saw a little bit here or there to kind of stay true to a line. So the more perfect you can make that cut, the better your cope is going to look. So now, as you can see, that is looking nice, ready for a coat. So I take my overall measurements from wall to wall, and then I hook on this long point here and measure and then cut my square end. So yeah, I'm going to measure off this, then I'm going to cut it to length, and then I'll coat this. All right. Here it is, Milwaukee Fuel 12-volt jigsaw with the coping foot, and I like to use a scroll blade on it so that it allows me to do curves a little easier. Yeah. There we are. All right, I'm going to bring it in and try the coat. do you think of that? Boom. That was first try. All right, we got the base all done all the way around. So now we're gonna start on the crown molding. And this is where it gets fun. So I'm gonna start with this long back wall here and work my way around. Okay, so how I cut crown is I like to use crown stops on my DeWalt saw. I actually prefer just a straight chop. I don't like one with rails that can slide in and out for crown. This is just straight up and down. I do have a DeWalt with a light on it, so you can kind of see where you're gonna cut. DeWalt saws come with a hole that's threaded, and you can buy these stops that just thread in, and you cut your crown upside down. And how you set these stops is you basically make sure that it is seated in there correctly, where it's sitting flat on the table and on the fence as well. And you kind of cut it at that profile. And this makes life very easy for coping and mitering crown. So that's my preferred method on how I cut crown. Now, once it's in that seated position, I take a pencil and I mark along here, and then I pop that out and I take a measurement from the table up to that mark there, and I'll cut a block that distance. All right, so a little bit earlier in the video I showed the block marking this. I'm gonna do the same thing here with this crown up there, and I'm gonna mark all the way around. That ensures that I'm not twisting my crown like this. I'm keeping it at the exact angle that I'm actually cutting on my saw. And that should ensure that my copes don't get all twisted and move up and down, that they fit nice together. So. All right, one of the keys to it is leaving your corner unnailed for quite a ways here. I've probably got 4 feet that I haven't nailed, so that is able to just move a little bit. And that'll help you a lot when you're fitting your cope into this piece. If you nail it, then that's solid. You can't kind of twist it at all to help you close up any gaps or anything like that. So I usually leave those unnailed at each end as I'm kind of coping into them. All right, so I cut my cope here, and I don't like to leave that little tip on there. So while it's set at square, I usually just take that little tip off, and then I cope the rest. All right, gonna cope this with the jigsaw. I would say I'm probably more efficient with a coping saw at the moment because I've only used this for a day. But this is kind of a test run for it, and to see if I like it. I was probably off screen. I was moving it all over the place. But I mean, it's pretty good with the jigsaw. I'm probably faster with the coping saw, like I said, but yeah, it should do the trick. All right, let's see how I did. Pretty happy with that. Dang. All right, I'm on to my last piece here. Let's see if I can get this steadied. Sorry about the audio. I dropped my mic and busted it, so going the old school way. Yeah. So this is double coat, one on each end, and you can ones are always a little tricky, especially by yourself when you don't have someone else to kind of give you a hand with it. I mean, I usually just try to roughly center it. So I can go tap there. All right, so here's a prime example of why you don't nail way out, so that you can kind of manipulate it to fit. That looks like it's way out, but I bet I'll be able to get it to look good. So here we go. There you go. What do you think of that?